Hello and welcome to the second update for January 2017. In this update I'll be continuing the ballast tutorial that I did, and I'll also go over an unexpected new arrival to the layout. Hope you enjoy. Cheers! Okay, in my last video I showed you how I put the ballast onto the tracks. Now I'm going to show you how I fix the ballast down. And what I need for that are some kind of key ingredients, if you like. I've got some PVA multi-purpose adhesive there. I've just gone for the home-based stuff. You get stuff out of Wix, B&Q. I would avoid the Evo Stick stuff, it's very pricey. I've gone for some fairy liquid there. I avoid the green stuff because I tend to find, I don't know if it was this or maybe the other glue, that the green tinge came out of it and it left itself on the side of the tracks. I had to go and scrape it all off before I weathered. So I now avoid using the green stuff. A squishy bottle with some tepid water in it. A jug with some water to mix up the mix with the glue, a syringe for decanting it from here, and I've got a kind of wee squeezy bottle as well, and what I use that for is to get some control. I'll water it down and you just press it wherever you want it. Now if you just use this to put on the tracks, what you tend to find, it's quite jerky and you'll get spurts of it coming out. You don't want that because it will disturb your ballast. So that's the kind of key pieces of equipment that you need. You need some of that as well. Never go anywhere without paper towels when you're working with this watery PVA. What you have to do, it does say 50-50 mix between the water and the PVA. I tend to go for a kind of 2/3 to 1/3 mix between the glue and the water. I don't want it too watery to start with, that's what I'm kind of trying to get at here. Okay, I can always make it waterier if I need to, like. A couple of spots of the fairy liquid in there. Okay, that helps break the surface tension down with the ballast and help the glue penetrate into the ballast, because obviously got a ballast shoulder, it can be quite deep, so you want to make sure the glue gets all the way through. Okay, that'll have to be mixed in a minute, and then obviously put into the syringe. What I've done before a ballast, and I kind of turn around to check all the track. I run a carriage back and forth over it all, just to make sure all the ballast is settled. Underneath where the track is, I've put some paper towels in case any leakage from glue. Any holes you drill, any holes you have drilled, the glue will find its way through. And any sensors you've got, I've got a track sensor for the signals here. You can see the wires there. I'm going to put some in there because that will just dribble through. It'll not cause a disaster because you're not going to see this, but I didn't want the wires, coated in too much PVA. And then I'm going to move that signal just out the way as well. Don't want to get that coated in PVA. Okay, and I've ballasted all the way around the tracks I need to just now. I'm kind of stopping there where I've got up to the painted surface. The reason I painted it before I put the ballast down is just if any ballast does kind of well, any gaps, if you like, show through, at least it's a dark grey and it's less obvious, and it helps with putting undergrowth there as well. I'll put some brown paint there down at some stage. I've not done the outer passing loop, as you can see. I've stopped halfway along. The reason for that is the terrain's getting very close to it. So what I'll probably do is I'll put the plaster cloth down there once I've carved it, and then I'll put the ballast down on top of that, because you can see there's quite a small gap between the blue stuff and the edge of the rail. So that's kind of been left just now. Maybe I should have done that before that I started ballasting, but I needed to be ballasting so I can get the retaining wall in place. So it's a kind of juggling act. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this glue up and I'll show you a little bit of how I apply the glue to the ballast. You might be able to see on the curve there that the ballast is kind of going all white. That's where I've saturated it with the PVA water mix. I'm now going to do the section in front of me here to show you how I actually go about it. Now, first of all, you need your spray bottle of water. Don't go too close or you'll disturb the balance of. As you can probably see in the distance there, the white tracks are the ones that have been saturated with the water PVA mix. I'm now going to do this kind of section in front of me here. I work about 2 to 3 feet at a time, and you go about it first of all by saturating the ballast with just tepid water. Now I've kind of put bits of paper and card down just to avoid any unnecessary splashing, but don't go too close and up from above to start with, directly above like it's raining, just gently get the squishy bottle and work your way back and forward from the top. Okay, I'm kind of going to go in from the side now. Again, don't go full pelt with the, the trigger, just go easy on it. And the last bit is going to come in from this side. And then again, just kind of at that angle. So I'm basically hitting it from all angles. Okay, to try and get that track area kind of wet. And what that'll do is it will just kind of soak to the ballast for a wee while, just to kind of let it penetrate down a little bit. Now, because I've kind of done this in MDF, and I know I've painted it, but you know MDF doesn't like moisture. So I'm not going to take any chances. I know it's been coated in undercoat, outdoor undercoat, weather seal stuff, but I'm still going to just dry off the excess at the side of the track with a paper towel. And obviously all the overspill's been caught on this bit of scrap paper down the lower tracks. Okay, that'll do. I don't need to do the rest. The ply's fine. And I'm sure the MDF will be fine as well. I know it's going to be covered in undergrowth, but I just don't want to risk any warping at this stage unless I can really avoid it. Okay, there is quite a bit of water lying around here. Don't worry about that. It will evaporate and dry. Okay, it's going to get a lot messier before it gets finished anyway. Then what I do is I take my little bottle, which is full of the PVA water mix, and I'm working around about 2 to 3 feet at a time, just so I can keep track of where I'm going with the glue. And you just very gently squeeze it on. I do the edge of the sleepers first. Let's go to there just now. I do the same at this side. Don't put too much down the first pass, just let it soak in. And if you put enough water down, remember it's got some detergent in it, it will basically disappear for the first few passes. I do it on the outside of just get yourself a routine that works and stick with it, and it makes sure you don't miss any bits out. But by the end of it, you'll be able to see which bits you've missed, because everyone else will be saturated. So now I'm going in between the tracks, back and forth, try and get as close to the rails as I can, the chairs, and it'll find its way into the middle anyway. And the same with this one. Now that's it, almost finished. Okay, I've done 3 or 4 passes there. So I then go and fill that up again and just keep going, and I'll move the camera to show you what it looks like when it's done. You'll know when to stop when basically the glue is coming out the side of the ballast. That'll all dry clear, don't panic about these puddles, okay? The wood's been painted anyway, it's not going to cause any problems to the wood. The reason that's actually more than I usually get, the reason I've done that is because I want to make sure that the glue penetrates the very big ballast shoulder that I've got here. Remember, it's sitting on 2.5 to 3mm cork, and it's got the foam riser on it to give it that kind of cant angle as it goes around the bend. So that's why I've been quite generous, if you like, with the glue on that section. This section not so much, because it's not got the extra added foam underneath. Okay, I just want to make sure that I got it all. That I've done in several passes, by the way, so I've not disturbed the ballast. If you try and saturate it in one go, you'll end up with ballast floating all over the place. Okay, so just don't bother wasting your time with that. Just build it up, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so I'm going to continue this section just now, and I'll come back and show you when it's done. Right, that's me literally just put down the glue, and that's what it looks like. Okay, compare that to dry at the left, damp in the middle, and glued at the right. And you can see what the glue's doing. It's turned it a milky white. Don't worry, it won't stay like that. It dries clear, the PVA. Don't worry about sitting on top of the sleepers or slight puddles. Again, it will drain away, find its way down, and dry clear. And I've not disturbed too much of the ballast. It retains the shoulder. So far so good. There's no cork that's reappeared. If that does happen, you just patch it up and glue it. Okay, so I work my way all the way around from the turnout. When you do the turnout, there's a special separate way of doing a turnout, which I'll go across when I get the next turnouts down at the other side of the layout. But you've got to watch you don't glue the mechanism and get the glue at the motor. So I'll continue to work away, and when I've finished I'll do a quick clip, and then it's a case of leaving it for, well, this time of year, probably 54, 72 hours, that kind of, you know, that kind of time span, just to kind of harden. Don't touch it in the meantime. If you're using a hot location, like in the summer or something, it will dry within 24 to 36 hours, but because it's midwinter and it's quite cold up here just now, it'll take longer. Goes without saying, while it's wet, don't run trains on it. Okay, that's all the glue applied to the ballast now. I really have to wait now, maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 days for it to harden up before I can do any more to this section, so I'll just go down and do some more work on my retaining walls. Okay, as you can see, the glue is now soaked in and the ballast has hardened. All the PVA water mix has worked its way in, and it took 6 days for it to go off. I was getting quite worried after 2 or 3 days that it wasn't going to settle, but it's been very cold this week, so that was probably the reason for it not wanting to dry too quickly. I've had the heater on, and the hatch of the loft open, just let some air movement in to try and get it to dry. Since it's dry, I've now started to run trains on it. I've given it all a good clean with a track rubber to get any residue off the top of the rails so it doesn't get into the train mechanism in the loco, and also I've been doing some local maintenance elsewhere just to try and clean wheels and whatnot while I've been waiting for it to dry. What I'll turn my attention to now is fitting the retaining walls along this section here. You can see the kind of bit of MDF jutting out a wee bit there that's been painted. I'm lucky I painted that actually before I glued, because there was a lot of glue seeped out and it was lying here, so that's all been, you know, sealed with outdoor weather seal primer, because MDF will tend to expand and distort if it gets soaked, and obviously the water would have done that, so pretty vital that I had actually done that before I've ballasted. The walls have been painted, as you've seen already, in parts. I've now completed the painting right along the retaining wall. I've added the mortar, and I've dry brushed in a couple of more brick colours to give it a variation, a more realistic look. I'm now going to, in the next clip, show the tunnel interiors in place, or the bridge interiors in place, and then I'll work my way along. So I'll be back shortly. I know I've done a loco review for January already, but I picked this loco up unexpectedly. It's the Hornby Class 50, it's the highly detailed one, and it's a 50035 Arc Royal. I've been after this loco for some time. Examples come up on eBay, but sometimes they're used, and not in really great condition. Sometimes they're new, but the price just skyrockets out with what I'm prepared to pay for a model. These were released about, I say, 10 years ago, and they're not available anymore. This was made at the Sandokan factory that used to make all of Hornby's products, so the standard of finish, build quality, etc. is superb. This is the earlier highly detailed Class 50, so if you bought one today you wouldn't get a working roof fan. This one has a working roof fan, or a rotating roof fan. If you bought one today you wouldn't get just the body held on with 4 clips, as this one is. The new one's held on with screws, which is best. Certainly this was a lot easier to get off, or quicker to get off than the new ones. If you bought one today, the black window surrounds wouldn't extend into the window sill, if you like, of the cab. It's just like printed on the front. This one goes all the way in, so it's more realistic looking. So I'm going to have this on my layout shortly. It's been detailed, it's been running, decoder fitted 8-pin. So I hope you enjoy looking at it on the layout. I might do a proper review later, but I've done a Class 50 review last, I think in March it was, of Hood, which is the same livery as this, versus the new one, which was Vanguard. So check that out if you wish, but just thought I'd update you on another addition to the layout.